Hello, seventh grade. I think I have my microphone fixed. It was a big win yesterday. We're taking big wins wherever we can, and that was a big one. Zip up. Sure, my zippers are zipped. Let's see. Well, it's a beautiful sunny day, unlike yesterday where it rained and hailed a little bit on me. Uh, it's just nice. I don't know. I think I'm more aware of the sun and nice sunny days than ever because we don't seem to have too many. So I'm very appreciative today. We plan on being outside all day after I do my two classes, yours and our ninth grade. Some news from, if you haven't seen it yet, which probably not because you came out late last night and you weren't up this morning, but news out of Harrisburg for the Department of Education was they are putting out statements saying there it's very likely they could see school back in the fall in person, not starting the school year online. And that wasn't exactly the thought a couple of weeks ago, where there was still a lot of question marks about what's the fall going to look like. Now it may be, who knows what exactly, if it's going to be school like we knew, or some social distancing involved. But at least that's a good sign for all of us. Well, I think for most of us. Well, for me, I really thought I would really love doing the online teaching. I like it, but I certainly miss the interaction with you. The social aspect of school that you were all missing, I miss as well. Seeing everyone and teaching that way as opposed to this way. This is very, very sterile. Talking to the computer. Talking with you is far more interesting, and interacting with you and learning from you and teaching you and everything that deals with that. So looks like the fall will be in person. If nothing else changes, we don't get another spike. But the word out of the Department of Ed was, if you see some things on TV today, local news, that they're leaning more towards the idea of being back in school somehow in person in the fall, which for me is great news, because this was fun, but not as fun as being there with you. So, codominant genetics, one more day of this. Tomorrow we have our live Zoom classes, regular times, just like we did last week on Wednesday, where we're going to go over some of this together. And this also leads into blood types. Blood type, you may have heard, he's type O, type A, type B, type AB, AB negative, AB positive. Blood type is codominant. So we are going to move into blood types next. So we're going to finish up codominant in regards to our chicken friends today. Speaking of chicken friends, here they are. So we're looking at, these are good examples of codominant traits. You could have chickens that are white feathered and chickens that are black feathered, or you can have chickens that are white and black. And that's what codominance is. You have, we talked about this yesterday, neither allele is dominant nor recessive. You can see one phenotype, black, you could see the other phenotype, white, or you could see both phenotypes, both black and white. And that's what we see here. The phenotype, remember, is the physical trait, and we're talking about feather color. So you could have one or the other or both. And this is different from what we did with the pea plants, where one was dominant, one was recessive, and you would only see one or the other. Here we have the option of seeing both. And this is the Punnett Square we ran yesterday. When you do codominance, remember it's all capital letters, because it's just, whatever is there is going to show up. And we're putting feathers for here, and this is our genotypes, and these are our phenotypes. What are the allele? Remember the type of genes. How are the alleles combined? If you have BB, you'll have black feathers. WW, you're going to have white. And if you have a B and a W, which is possible, you will have both black and white feathers. So this is our P generation. Yes, remember P generation is parent generation, and these are what we consider our parents. They all had parents, but maybe we don't know what they are. We just bought these 2 chickens at a local agway, or we ordered some eggs and we hatched them out, and these are now our parents we're going to breed. And so we don't know anything about the other parents, but we just know these parents. So we are running these parents. Now let's make an F1 generation. Remember that stands for F stands for filial. And so we're talking about filial meaning relating to son-daughter parents, offspring parents. So let's see the connection between the parents and the offsprings with an F1 generation. And to make things interesting, we're going to take these two, if these 2 chicks here, a BW and a BW. So what we're doing is we're taking 2 of these chickens here, 1 male, 1 female, because that's how that works. And we're going to, most of the time, and we're going to breed those 2. All right. So make sure we're still recording. Yes, we are. It's like a fun house. All right. There's an infinite number of me back that way. All right. Enough of that. Losing my mind here. All right. Let's go to. Oh, by the way, this next slide, very funny. This is my attempt yesterday to draw 2 people with a purple jump rope and wait and doing like a wave with it. And in the midst of this is what I came up with yesterday. I laughed over that. Anywho. All right, so codominance. Here we are. So here's our F1 generation. We have our black and white feathered chicken here and black and white feathered chicken here. All right. And here's our possible genotypes. We're not going to type this in. We know this is going to be black feathers, white feathers, black and white. Right. So let's run our square. And if you wanted to, at this point, you could pause the video, set this up, and maybe you already did this yesterday, run the square yourself. For those of you that are liking genetics, you know it gets fun. It's like a little mystery. You get to solve it and figure out what it's going to be. So if you want to do, pause the video. And I'm back. Maybe you figured this out already. Let's see if you're right. All right. So, feathers from mom, feathers from dad. Feathers from mom and feathers from dad. This little guy is going to inherit feathers from mom and feathered. When I say feathers, I mean the genetics for feathers. Part of that DNA. All right. So let's look at the probability of the offspring with these 2 black and white. We have a black and white chicken and a black and white chicken. And they're going to have baby chickens. And let's see what the probability is. So this one is going to be B, 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 B. Oh, struggling. He's struggling. Boom. All right. This one is going to be BW. BW. Now notice I'm in with, when I have B and W, I'm always putting B first. You just want to be consistent. I could put WB, but you just want to put WB then for all of them. So you're not going back and forth. Not that it really matters, but you do keep things consistent as much as you can in science. When you're doing dominant and recessive, you always put the dominant one first. When you're doing this, codominance, if you're doing black and white over here, just do black and white every time you do it. Put the B first. Just be consistent. B, W. B, W, W, W. Let's see if that makes sense. Always good to double check too. All right, so B comes down, B goes over. W comes down, B comes over. B comes down, W comes over. W comes over, W comes down. Beautiful. All right. So let's look at our probability here. Probability. I haven't become a better speller over the quarantine. Okay, so we have one black, a black and white, a black and white, and a white. So that's interesting. To get black, there is a 25% chance you're going to get a black feathered chicken. For white, there is a 25% chance of getting a white chicken. And then that would leave for black, and white. That would be equal to a 50% chance of getting a chicken with black and white feathers. So here we have this black and white chicken and a black and white chicken. There's only a 50% chance that the offspring will have both black and white feathers. You could have a black and white chicken, a black and white chicken, and a 25% chance of having an all black chick come out, or a chick with all white feathers. So that's codominance, and hopefully you get that, because it's going to get a little more complicated from here. As we did, the basic genetics was pretty easy. This gets a little bit trickier. The next step gets a little bit trickier, and because of that, I wanted to make sure you remember, boom, there is notes on codominance. Right there, codominance. Basically, that's all the stuff I went over, but there's how I set up the notes for it, an example of each one. It might be a good idea to make notes of that yourself. I know some of you are doing that. I've seen them. You show me pictures. If you wanted to make digital notes for your website, you can do that. Remember, to create something, you'll help you remember. So you could create a genetics page on your website. And to make these, I showed Eminem the other day, Sketchpad. And it's a free little Sketchpad thing here that you can, it's easier to create. And here's a Punnett Square I made the other day. You have shapes here, okay? And you can make squares. Well, you get the idea. Once you make them, you can change how they're filled. There you go. And then you can make lines in between. You can draw the lines with a pencil or a pen, or you can make the line. Oh, here. You can make a line. Dotted line. Whoa! That's not what I wanted to do. Make lines. And you can make the lines, you all change the colors. And then what you can do is, once you make that Punnett Square, I think I'm writing in white. There we go. Well, that's typical me. Make that Punnett Square. You can add text. You can add text. Type something. You can export this. Export. And you can do it as a JPEG And then once you save it, you can put it onto your website. So this might make it easier to make those Punnett Squares. I made a mess. Also on our website is blood types. This is what we're going to do on Thursday. If you can, between now and Thursday, is figure out maybe the blood types, your blood type, your parents' blood types, and because that might be helpful. Because what you can do with it, this is really where you could do some detective work. This is what people do is they find blood samples at a crime scene. They can determine part of who it is the type of blood it is, and then eliminate people. Or you can tell if someone like is an adopted child or a biological child, because two parents, like a mom and a dad with certain blood types, can only have children with certain blood types then. So if a child, has a blood type of O and it's not possible from the parents to have O, then you're like, well, uh-oh, what do we got going on here? So see if you know if you can ask your parents if you know your blood type. There is a blood type video down here, and we'll be set for Thursday and Friday. We're doing at least Thursday, Friday, maybe even to next week. We're doing blood types. Okay. All right, 7th grade. It was a pleasure once again teaching you. Hopefully you're still learning because you can. All right, I'll see you tomorrow in live Zoom. Bye.